Hey guys, welcome back to your endless season here on the Animation Station, your one searching for anything and everything animation, and I promise you that this one's going to be far shorter than the nearly 50-minute long top 10 list I just did. So, we just talked about the best releases, and I'm actually impressed how good that video is doing so far. I mean, 12 views in 3 hours, that's actually pretty good, considering this channel standards. So, from what I can tell, you guys actually like me doing this kind of material, so I thought, well, let's throw in another one, because we gotta talk about the bad too, because it wasn't all good this year. Now, granted, there wasn't a lot of bad, which is why this is only a top 5 list, but there was still some bad ones, and we gotta talk about them. So, I'm Jet Small, this is Animation Station. Welcome to, in my opinion, the top 5 worst releases of 2023. So, let's just get through these nice and quick. Let's start off with our number 5 pick. And just a heads up, a lot of this list is going to be Hasbro. Because Hasbro has done some really, really bad things over the years. From their blatant laziness to their obnoxious greed, they are just a messy, messy company. So coming in first at number 5 is going to be the Marvel Legends X-Men Villains 5-pack. 2 of the figures in here are okay, then 3 of them are really, really bad. Some of them are either reused sculpts that are inaccurate to the actual character. They're just reused parts used to rush out to a deadline. Their articulation is bad. Like, they're just lazy. Like, 2 of them are actually decent, but they're pretty lazy. They are really lazy releases, all bunched together in this one pack that has inaccuracies and just, again, blatant laziness. And for the price that they're asking for it, I expect more. So, yeah, maybe that's my fault. Maybe I'm just being naive. But, yeah, that is the number 5 spot, the X-Men Villains 5-pack. It is a very bad pack. Not worth your money. And for the actual 2 decent characters, just wait for them to go on sale separately on eBay. That's what I would suggest. Which are Wonder Boy and that other one. I forget which one it is. Editing will show an arrow to which one's the actual other decent one, because I forget. So, yep, that's a bad release. That's number 5. Sticking with Marvel Legends, let's talk about number 4, another multi-pack that's utter freaking crap, and that is the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends 3-pack. For those of you that don't know what this is based off one of the very early Spider-Man cartoons, where Spider-Man had this very dated 60s cartoon where he was teamed up with Firestar and Iceman. Very, very weird, if you ask me. And the Spider-Man figure itself is fine. It's not anything all that revolutionary. It is pretty much just another reused Spider-Man mold that we've seen a dozen times from a dozen other Spideys, but paint-wise, it's fine. No, the problem here is Firestar, who is wildly inaccurate to the actual source material and looks terrible. And then there's Iceman, who's so blatantly lazy he might as well just not have even had paint. He looks terrible and outright unfinished. So, yeah, and you don't get a whole lot of accessories either. It's just a really bad freaking multi-pack that's not worth the money that they're asking for it. So, yep, that's it. That's all I have to say about it. Like I said, we're flying through these quickly because it's only a top 5 list. Number 3, moving away from Hasbro now, because I do have a few other things here I do need to complain about. Let's talk about what is undeniably the worst of the SH Figuarts figures that got released this year, Porunga and Dende. This thing was $500 when it came out. Porunga is pretty much just an articulated statue where you can only move his arms, and not to mention there's some very blatantly missed paint details. And then Dende, it's not even an action figure. He's just a tiny little thing that you put on this base, and then the base is supposed to have lights and sound, and the lights and sound are crap. Like, you know those really bad LEDs where it looks like it's barely even lighting up at all? That's what you get here. Not to mention the Namekian Dragon Balls are pretty much just repainted ping pong balls. For a $500 set, I expect way more than that. Yes, I understand that they're supposed to be bigger than the normal Dragon Balls, but I mean, the normal Dragon Balls that they've been releasing lately with all their other figures have been good. Like, yes, they've been a bit cheap, but they're not that bad. This is just blatantly lazy because it's just repainted ping pong balls that are supposed to glow, but because of the paint, they barely glow at all. Like, stupid. And then on top of that, you have the fact that this is an electronic base and it also has sound. And the sound is awful. Like, some of the worst quality audio you would ever expect coming out of something electronic. Like, here, let me show you something that's even better than the sound from that piece of crap. Let me grab him real quick. This Lightning McQueen right here. This Lightning McQueen here has sound, and even this sound sounds better than the sound from Porunga and Dende. Listen.
Let's get some dirt on these tires.
Yeah, like, see, that doesn't sound bad. That sounds okay, but that's a cheap little bargain bin toy you can get from, like, Walmart or whatever. Well, back when this series was even popular. But my point still stands. That is a cheap thing you can probably buy for, like, 15, 20 bucks. And then this thing is a not very cheap thing that blows you out of $500. Screw you, SH Figuarts. Porunga may be cool, but not worth this money, and it shouldn't have been priced this obnoxiously just because of your stupid gimmick that doesn't even work. So, yeah, no, screw you. Throw this in the trash. It's not worth your money. You want better SH Figuarts? Get Legendary Super Saiyan Goku. If you can somehow hunt it down, Metacooler, Turles. There's literally a bunch of other better SH Figuarts released this year that are far cheaper and far more worth your money. This is an overrated, catch-grabbing piece of crap. And for $500, I expect more. Coming in next at number 2 is a figure that I kind of knew was going to be bad, but I had no idea how bad it was going to be until I watched the Anthony's Customs video about it. Woof, this thing is bad. I'm, of course, talking about the DC Multiverse Flash Ben Affleck Batman figure. What the heck even was this thing? This went for the same price as a Dragon Stars figure, but it has less paint, less articulation, has problems standing by itself, and sculpt just looks bad because it's literally just gray painted over all black plastic. The same problem that McFarlane has had with the My Hero Academia figures. That's why I don't have any of those yet, because I've heard all about their blatant friggin' laziness, and I don't want to support that. Look, I don't hate McFarlane toys, okay? They do some good things every once in a while. I like the Mortal Kombat figures. They always nail it with their Spawn figures, so... But this is just crap. Rushed out crap to capitalize on the popularity of the movie. And it wasn't even that popular of a movie. It tanked. Thank goodness, because the movie itself is bad, but I already talked about it in another list. Point is, this figure is crap. Do not buy it. If you want a better McFarlane Toys figure, get an MK11 figure, or any of the numerous Spawn figures. Stay away from this, and stay away from the My Hero Academia line. Both of those are trash. But they're not as trash as our number 1. And I think that this is widely regarded as one of, if not the absolute worst, collectible release of this year. Something so lazy, so obnoxious, and just so outright bad that they even went so far as to rob people of their money twice. Yep, we're back to Hasbro again, because, I mean, no worst list is complete without this, but this one especially pissed me off. What do I mean by that? Well, let me tell you all about it. The number 1 worst release of the year is undoubtedly the Marvel Legends No Way Home Spider-Man 3-pack. What a blatantly greedy, lazy pile of garbage. Let me set the stage for you. When we first got the announcement that Marvel Legends was going to be making figures for No Way Home, including Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and an updated version of their integrated suit Spider-Man. People were very excited, myself included. And when we first saw it, it didn't look too bad from pictures. But then we found out it was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. It costed even more than one of the SH Figuarts that was releasing around the same time. And only the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man figure was actually decent. The integrated Spider-Man figure that should have just been a port over from a singles release instead turned out to be a lazily cobbled together hunk of crap. And then you have the blatantly obvious one in the room, the one that I was tempted to rail on when I was talking about SH Figuarts Spidey in the honorable mentions of the best list. This Marvel Legends figure of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is downright insulting. It is inaccurate. His body proportions are all kinds of wrong. The paint is horrible. Its laziness is obnoxiously blatant. And then on top of all of that, the articulation of this figure sucks. Sure, you can get it to move around decently, but the problem is, no matter what pose you have it in, you're always going to have gaps where there shouldn't be gaps. Like, for example, let's say you try to get him in like a web swinging pose. Well, now you have a giant blatant hole right where his elbow is. Like, it's so bad. And if that wasn't bad enough, they had to go the extra mile and include web accessories of, web shooting, but no web hand shooting accessory for any of the three in this pack. And not to mention, this pack when it first came out was like $90 to $120. Like, what in the actual hell? Now, all that was more than enough to get a spot on the list, but what made it number one is that not even a year later, they double-dipped everybody and re-released all three of these Spider-Men separately. So, in other words, if you were one of those people who got suckered into buying that 3-pack because you thought it was going to be the only release of these three, and these three specifically, yeah, now you just got screwed. When you could have just bought them all separately for far cheaper, and you just wasted $120 on something that got re-released anyway. Now, granted, you probably didn't know it was going to get re-released. Heck, I don't think any of us did. But as soon as we did find out, it showed how obnoxiously greedy Hasbro was with this release. And every time I see it, it just pisses me off. Like, if I want a Tobey Maguire figure that's actually good, I will either pay the obnoxious amount of money for an SH Figuarts one, or go on eBay and try to find a decent price for one of the old Toy Biz ones. Because this Spider-Man ain't it. However, like I said before, the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man gets some leniency because it was actually a decent release. From what I've heard, that's the one that everyone could agree was either good or just okay. But one okay release out of a 3-pack that was over $100, exclusive to this stupid Hasbro premium crap, and then re-released not even a year after you already screwed people out of that money. Yeah. That is greedy, that is egregious, and that is just a horrible thing to do. Yes, double dipping is not that uncommon with toy brands. I mean, heck, freaking Funko Pops do it all the time. But point is, none of them ticked me off more than this one, because as soon as I even heard this was a thing, I'm like, oh, this is going to be really cool, an easy way to get all three Spider-Man, action figures of all three Spider-Men, to display and have around whenever I want. But this entire situation was, for lack of a better word, a complete show. A complete show. And it's for that reason, and so many others that I could list, but then we'd be here for hours. The Marvel Legends Spider-Man No Way Home 3-pack and all 3 of those freaking re-releases are the worst release of 2023. Screw this obnoxious, lazy, greedy, asinine crap. And with that, we are done. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And now that list is done, I can just throw it in the garbage and never have to think about it again. And next time, it's going to be a much better list because we have something pretty cool to talk about next time. Something that I'm pretty passionate about, as I'm pretty sure all you guys are. And this is another one that may or may not become a yearly tradition because of how much I love this particular brand specifically. See you next time when we count down the top 10 best Funko Pops of 2023 because I felt bad that only one of them made the list and one in the honorable mentions when there were so many great Funko Pops released this year. Which means, yes, there's not going to be a worse list. This is going to be me just talking about the best, and then after that, we're done with the medium of collectibles for the year. So, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on all these down below. Let me know how many of you guys got screwed over by that terrible Spider-Man 3-pack. And feel free to vent any frustration for any terrible releases that you witnessed this year that I might have left off the list. So, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Jad Small of Animation Station, and until the next video, peace.